given me and my family during the past 20 years that I've lived here. Unlike our president, I am not here to apologize for America. I don't find any horrors in being in America. On the contrary, I am so proud to have fought to become an American citizen. Before I go on, I want to share with you a little bit about my background. I moved to the United States back in 1986 from Brazil when I was 14 years old to live with my uncle, a visiting professor at West Point, and his family. My life in America couldn't have started in a better place than the home of the long gray line, the home of heroes and true believers in duty, honor, country. While there, I met my husband, a young cadet, son of 2 Cuban parents, refugees of the horrors of the communist regime imposed on their homeland by the Castro brothers, Che Guevara, and so many other bloody assassins that we seem to worship these days. 2 years later, I joined part of the American dream. I moved to California. We came here legally to be part of the American dream. Life, liberty, opportunity, and the pursuit of happiness. Unlike others, I did not come here to change the system or to take advantage of the system. I came here to be a part of the system. But you know what? When we got here, times were tough for my parents. My dad shortly became unemployed, and we had to work really hard in order to make it. But we never took a single government handout. And today I'm proud to say that my father is on the verge of retirement. So my family and I, we have lived the American dream. And we want to preserve this dream for our children and grandchildren. But let's go on and talk about what is at stake here today. Let's talk about what we must know and do in order to avoid the traps laid by the enemy. The economy has been and will continue to be one of the most prominent issues in our minds during these post-election months. If you think the economy is bad now, though, you have to think again, because we ain't seen nothing yet. Once Obama is done with cap and trade, Obamacare, amnesty for the 20 million illegals that we have hanging around, and the list goes on, then we're going to be in trouble, people. Even billionaire, liberal investor George Soros has warned us that fear, and I quote him, fears of inflation would drive up borrowing costs and choke off growth once financial markets recover. First Buffett, now Soros, hammering the economy. Now, if the media was doing its job, I guarantee you this would actually leave a mark. People, pay attention. We are headed for 1929 times 10. I stop to look around and take in all that is happening to us. I realize that the moral crisis that we're living today is the same one that was gradually implemented in my home country through a strong and well-planned Marxist program that involved the most important sectors of society. And those are education, media communication, entertainment, and religion. These days, I find myself astonished as I realize the direct correlation between what is happening in the United States and what has happened in Brazil and Latin America in general. And that is the implementation of 21st century Marxism. And you know what? That's just a camouflage statement for communism, to make people feel better, because our society these days is all about people feeling good about themselves. You know, I've had so many people come up to me and tell me that I'm scary because I use the word communism. Well, guess what? That's reality, and we need to wake up to reality. The model for implementation of 21st century Marxism is quite simple. Number one, a liberal or progressive candidate is introduced to the masses as the Messiah that is going to fix all problems for everybody imposed by the evil capitalists. Number two, this candidate has a political platform with plenty of social changes that will fix the inequality between those who work hard and file their taxes and those who have nothing because of the rich. Does redistribution ring a bell, folks? Number three, the same candidate has the undivided attention from the media and entertainment industry to preach his social programs to the masses. the healthcare commercial from ABC last week. Number 4, the election process itself is corrupted as much as possible until the first Marxist is elected. That's where Acorn comes into play. Number 5, upon taking office, social programs are implemented to benefit those who help get him or her elected. The tax-paying class pays the bill and struggles to keep its standards of living. That's AmeriCorps. Did you notice how the budget for AmeriCorps nearly doubled lately? The civilian army that we're creating in our country? That's not right, folks. Number 6, politicians then pass necessary constitutional changes needed to increase the number of terms as well as minimize the possibility of build up a strong opposition. And lastly, once the situation is bad enough and even the believers are ready to democratically reverse the situation by defeating the Messiah and or his designated successors, they unilaterally call for the end of democracy and announce the start of a new era of government for the people. If this model doesn't resemble what we're living today in our country, I don't know what does. So even though not many Americans would know this, because Latin America barely makes it into the news here, even though it's in our own backyard, the political system we have in place today is exactly the same one implemented by Marxists in the so-called banana republics. By electing presidents such as Chavez in Venezuela, Lula in Brazil, Morales in Bolivia, Correa in Ecuador, Kirchner in Argentina, and Ortega in Nicaragua. And now in Honduras, we're seeing yet another example of how Marxists get themselves democratically elected and then attempt to stay in power by illegally changing the constitutions of the countries through the undemocratic means. But worse than this is the fact that our own president, Barack Obama, is in alignment with such distinguished characters, such as Chavez, Castro,